Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, 32 male, was married to my ex-wife, Jane, 30 female, for 5 years. Our marriage ended after I discovered she had been cheating on me for about a year with multiple men. She got pregnant and confessed that she doesn't know if the baby was mine or her affair partner's. A couple of months after the divorce, I tried to reach out to her to see if the baby was mine, but couldn't. And I learned through a friend she and her new partner had left the country. That was 2 years ago, and I thought that was that. Recently, Jane reached out to my mother, claiming that her kid is mine and in need of financial help. Jane told my mother that her partner left her when he found out the kid is not his. Now, for context, Mother has always been desperate for grandkids, especially since my older brother is gay and child-free, and I've been single since the divorce. She's been relentless in pressuring me to help out Jane. However, I have my doubts given her infidelity. I find it hard to trust her claims without concrete evidence. So I've insisted on paternity tests before committing to any financial or emotional support. If the child is indeed mine, I'll gladly step in and fulfill my responsibilities as a father. But I refuse to do so without proper legal documentation. My mother and Jane are both vehemently against the idea of involving lawyers or going through the legal process. They insist that the child is mine based on familiar resemblances, like having blue eyes, which I have, but Jane has blue eyes as well. This issue came to a head when my mother posted a picture on Facebook of her and the kid, titled "My Grandson." Now family members and some friends know about this issue and are contacting me. When I tell them I don't know if the kid is mine and want to do a paternity test, they are calling me selfish and irresponsible. My family members are saying that my mother will only say that because she is sure that the kid is mine. My friends say I am an a-hole for punishing the kid for what my ex-wife did. There is a chance the kid is mine, but I can't shake off my doubts. And I refuse to be manipulated into a situation where I might end up responsible for a child who may or may not be mine. I'm willing to do what's right, but I need certainty first. But it's driving me crazy with so many people close to me saying I should just take responsibility. My older brother is the only one who is on my side, and he thinks it's because my mother has accepted the kid that others are willing to accept it too, and because of family bonds, which are a major thing here. But I'm standing firm on my decision to do a paternity test. Well, OP would be a huge idiot not to have the DNA test of his cheating ex's kid that she suddenly says is OP's 2 years later when having money trouble. OP has every right to request a paternity test before accepting responsibility for another man's child, especially after being cheated on and deceived by his ex-wife. It shocks and annoys me that OP's mother, the lady who gave birth and raised OP, is more on OP's cheating wife's side. I will never understand that. And now let's see if the community agrees with me. Healthy Air says, "Not the a-hole. DNA test or nothing. It's crazy to think you just step in and take over a paternal role based on your lying ex's claim." Forward Most says, "Not the a-hole. Your mother is blinded by her obsession to have grandkids. You're not being selfish. You're being responsible. Protect yourself and get the test done." Carpe Suprinidae says, "Not the a-hole. This is obvious. You should also reply on your mother's Facebook post stating that your ex-wife had a baby after adultery and after leaving you, and that until such a time as a paternity test is agreed to, the child is not known to be your son or your mother's grandson, and that you have reasons to doubt that you could be the father due to timing and the refusal to confirm it by testing." I, 30 female, have been dating my now ex-fiancé, 35 male, for 5 years. From my knowledge, our relationship was perfect. He was a gentleman, a sweetheart, kind and genuine, all the things I ever wanted. A little over a week ago, I started feeling pretty sick and nauseous. The possibility of being pregnant really didn't even enter my mind, as I'll explain. But I took a test anyway, and it came back positive. Took another to be sure, and yeah, I'm pregnant. It hurts because I was genuinely so happy at the news, just being really giddy and excited. For context, my ex-fiancé has little to almost no sperm. Not sure of the medical term, but his balls are too hot basically. My ex has always wanted to be a dad. That's been his dream since I met him. And we both had fertility testing when we started trying. He was crushed learning about his infertility. He went on a pretty bad spiral briefly with alcohol that was hard to watch. Anyway, you can understand how excited I was to tell him all of this. I left work early and headed home. I tried phoning him, but didn't get any answer. He was in our bed, with an escort. I genuinely can't even explain the heartache I felt. Walking through the house, looking at him, and hearing them together. The absolutely disgusting things he was saying about me. I lost my crap, crying and yelling, dragged her out by her hair, and just started screaming at my ex. He was apologizing, saying he didn't mean to, that he was sorry and that it was just S, and that he loved me. The Ducking Cheater Handbook. I was so angry and hurt. I really shouldn't have, but I just blurted out that I was pregnant and would be booking a visit to the clinic ASAP. He didn't believe me at first, so I threw my tests at him. He started crying a little, then asked if I cheated. I told him it didn't matter either way because I'd be terminating it and left. He's been messaging me constantly, showing up at my parents' place apologizing and begging for me not to terminate. It hurts because I wanted this baby too. It's not like it's an easy decision, but I can't keep it. I know that I'll always be tied to him for the rest of my life, and I refuse to let that happen. I'm grateful for my baby because they helped me find out about my ex cheating, but I just can't keep it. My ex has just been sleeping in his car outside of my parents' house. He caught me one time on the way to work, and he said that I don't even have to be in his life or the baby's, that I can sign away all paternal rights, and to just please let him have this opportunity. But I mentally can't. I know that if I kept it, I wouldn't be able to just give it away. I booked an appointment next week, earliest I can do. So am I the a-hole here? I feel a bit morally conflicted, especially since this might be his only chance of having biological kids, which he desperately wants. Edit. I'm a bit emotional, and it's given me a lot to think about. I'd just like to add that I'm in no way doing this for revenge or for retaliation. That's not my thought process at all. It's purely just me, and I don't really care if it sounds selfish. But I don't feel like I'll be happy if I have this child. I'm thinking about myself, but I genuinely can't express how much I love him. So the hurt of possibly ruining this chance for him, especially when I saw how distraught he was when he was told that it's unlikely he'll have kids. It's a lot to deal with. Oh, poor OP. She has so much to deal with at the moment. This should be the happiest time of OP's life. And instead, she is dealing with the realization that her fiancé is not the man she thought he was. OP needs to do what is best for her. She can be selfish and make any decision based on what she wants, and no one else. OP's fiancé lost the right to have a say in her life the moment he cheated. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Beck 2010 says, "If you have this baby, you'll be tied to your cheating ex for the rest of your life. You've broken up with him. Why would you want him to have access to you and your life permanently? You'd have to co-parent, decide visitation schedules, navigate new relationships around his opinion, to name just a few things. Cut him out of your life and sever any ties permanently. He had an escort in your bed. Is this a person you'd want around forever? Not the a-hole." Manifesting Angel 21 says, "In answer to your title, it might be his only chance at having a baby. But who says it's yours? At the end of the day, it's your body. He's a cheater and a liar, and will likely make himself out to be a victim whatever you choose to do. Do what's best for you." East Sprinkler says, "Not the a-hole. I'm assuming that this is your first pregnancy. So please, OP, don't go into it with this amount of anger and heartache, because it will taint what is supposed to be a happy journey. Plus, this man doesn't deserve to be a part of your family. And like you said, if you have this baby, you will be tied to this man. And all these promises he's making to be a single father will be thrown out the window as soon as the baby needs a diaper change. Do what's best for you. You can always start a family with another man that truly deserves you." My husband kindly agreed to let our sister and her daughter move into our home with us after they lost their prior housing. The agreement was for 6 months, hopefully long enough for them to get back on their feet. It has been a living hell. We are 3 months in and struggling because my niece is so controlling and obnoxious. First, her eating. My husband used to do a lot of cooking. It's a fun stress relief for him. My niece ruined that. First, she's picky, so if something is not to her liking, She will refuse to eat it, then complain she's too hungry to help with dishes. The worst of it, however, was when she got grounded from sweets. She asked if she could have dessert. My husband said no. So she got so upset and scrapped her entire full plate that hubby cooked into the trash. Then, when he had to step away for a work call, she scrapped his into the trash too. My sister was pouring drinks and didn't see it happen in time to stop it. When it's time to do homework, she will literally hiss, screech, and fake cry until her mother caves and tells her she doesn't have to do it. The longest this went on was 3 hours before my sister caved, but daily this goes on for at least an hour. If my sister is busy and my husband or I are at home, she will knock on our door or his office door. Doesn't matter how many times you tell her to stop, or how many times you open it and tell her to leave. She will knock for an hour if you let her. My husband has banned her from coming upstairs, so now she just stands at the bottom of the stairs and whines our names when she's bored. My in-laws tried to visit, and my husband wanted to make a nice dinner for them. But my niece wound up getting so mad that my husband wasn't paying attention to her, that she kept trying to hit him with things. When she tried to slap my mother-in-law for putting her hand on my shoulder, my in-laws left, and they ended up having dinner with us out somewhere. She stole my husband's video game. When he took it back, she flushed all of his sparkling waters down the toilet. She said she couldn't help it. She talks at a volume 100 all day. We've tried ignoring this, and we only speak to her when she lowers her voice, but it never lasts. I'm at my wit's end. I can't have my girlfriends over. My husband is always having migraines now. He won't be intimate with me. I try to talk to him about it, but I know he's just trying to honor his end of the agreement and stick it out for another 3 months. But I don't know if we can make it. Yes, my sister has pursued counseling in school, counseling outside of school, etc. It's expensive, and my niece is suspended so much that she never gets to see her counselor or her tutor. I think they are enabling the niece. OP's husband and OP allowing her to disrespect them in their own house. Your house equals your rules. OP really needs to find her backbone. Yes, they have promised 6 months, but they didn't promise to put up with being treated like this for 6 months. There was an implicit assumption that they'd treat OP, her husband, and their house with respect. And now let's hear the community's opinion. There are consequences to poor behavior. Allison2817 says, "This is your family. You need to deal with them, and deal with it immediately. Tell them they are no longer welcome, as your niece is actively disrespectful to your husband, is harassing everyone in your home, and your sister-in-law is ignoring everything. Do not make your husband stick it out for another 3 months. Your sister's problems are hers. Do not take them on and continue to disrupt your household." Emergency Candy 600 says, "Tell your sister she and niece need to eat separately and cook their own meals with food they buy. Sister cannot leave niece alone in the home and needs to be responsible for supervising her. Every time her daughter breaks something, you will take a week off the agreed-upon time to stay." Queen Mother 81 says, "Your sister is taking advantage of this agreement when she knew her child was a horror. They have to go. Kick them out because they have now posed an issue in your marriage. I wouldn't give 2 craps about the agreement. When it comes down to it, it's your sister and her spawn, or your husband." So I, 30 male, come from a well-off family, but my dad always taught me to work hard and have class. When I was 14, I started working at my dad's company part-time to earn my allowance, and when I turned 16, I became a real part-time employee. My dad decided to retire when I was 29 and handed the business to me. Back in my second year of uni, I met Kim, 20 male at the time, 29 male now. We were in the same course and ended up in the same group for a group project near the beginning of the year. We had a similar sense of humor and clicked as friends quickly. One day, he mentioned he loves to cook, and I told him we should cook together because I love to cook too. And that weekend, we went to his place, brought some ingredients, and cooked together. This then became us going shopping for ingredients after classes on Friday. I'd stay at his place for the night, and we would cook on the weekend, and this became our weekly routine. Back then, I just told others that we were just friends, but with hindsight, that is definitely when I started to fall for him. I finally asked him out a few months later, and he said yes. We lived in the same house with 2 other friends in our 3rd year, and I asked him to move in with me after we graduated. From the beginning, I told Kim that I would not care if he didn't work, but he insisted he wanted to contribute financially. But after about a year, I had to make him stop, due to the differences in our incomes. He was working himself half to death and was getting ill trying to contribute enough. I sat him down and told him whatever money he made didn't matter, that if he wanted to work, I wanted him to be happy. He cut back his hours, then moved to part-time, then decided to quit and work on his own projects. But he insisted I let him take on some of the housework. Now on to the issue. My sister, 32 female, she and her partner, 31 male, both work, and he also makes significantly less than her. And in private to me, she's made it known that she resents being the breadwinner. She sees all her male colleagues spoil and treat their wives, and wishes her partner would do the same. He does, but just not at the same level, due to the fact that he makes basically half as much as they do. Recently, I was talking to her about what I am going to get Kim for his next birthday. She kept telling me my ideas were too much, and that I should get something cheaper since he doesn't contribute. I got a bit annoyed, because I've told her about Kim's insecurities of not making or being enough. I told her he contributes more than enough. She then called him a glorified gold digger, and I yelled at her, telling her to shut up and to not talk about Kim that way. After calming down, I do feel bad. I know how she feels about her own financial position, but I don't think it's fair that she takes it out on me or Kim, even if Kim wasn't physically there. So am I the a-hole? Comfortable C says, not the a-hole. It sounds like your sister is projecting her frustrations, insecurities onto you and Kim. If your relationship with Kim works for you and him, sis needs to butt out. Claire Swin says, if you are happy, then it's none of your sister's business. I assume Kim was unable to contribute as he moved into your home and couldn't keep up with your lifestyle. I'm surprised he didn't work and agreed to contribute based on percentage of income rather than 50-50, but that is none of my business. Ignore your sister, but protect your company and assets if you decide to marry Kim. He doesn't have the means to support himself without you, and you should both face that head-on in terms of legality. Not the a-hole. She pushed you into it. Artistic Tough says, not the a-hole. It's your relationship, and you are very okay with the situation. Your sister isn't okay with hers. That doesn't mean your partner is a gold digger.